There are a ton of great backup solutions out there, but they're enterprise. And in our world with multi-tenancy, that's a problem. So multi-tenancy is the key for us for efficiency. If it doesn't scale, it's going to cost you money. So whatever you think you're saving, you're actually spending. All of our revenue is generated out of efficiency now. So efficiency is key, which means I need a single pane of glass. I need it to work. I need it to be validated that it's going to work. And I need it to be easy for my technicians to use. If my technicians are happy, that means the client's going to get what they need. What we've found is that our word becomes our bond. And if we only engage in partnerships, so we don't do that vendor-client relationship type scenario. So everything we do is partnership based. So it really comes to the metal when you do that first recovery. That's when you're going to be judged by the client as to the success or failure of what you promised. So we had backup technicians that were just dedicated to staring at screens, and the first 4 hours of a morning was spent reverse engineering these and finding out what was going on. So it's your highest paid employees doing the least revenue generating tasks usually, right? The last thing you want is members of your team having headaches, migraines, because they're staring at screens for extended period of time, but under stressful situations. And backup is one of those. The impact of not having a backup is going to come out of you at left field on a Tuesday at 6 a.m. So there's always a stress if you don't know or you don't have confidence in your backup product. That's the one I always ask my technicians in our infrastructure calls. I'm like, what's the black hole? What's the deep, dark fear you have today? And I can tell you a year ago, when I would ask that question, they'd be like, I'm worried about backups. I'm worried about us not having transparency or viewability into the backups and whether or not they are or are not succeeding. I've continued to ask that question, and that has been removed. You end up spending 1.7 FTE full-time bodies just managing backup. We're looking a little over 375 servers that we're managing and maintaining currently. And that 1.7 is just the preventative maintenance, never mind the time to actually deal with a restore or a recovery or disaster type scenario. When you get to the size of multiple technicians, you start to realize you don't want to keep paying FTEs to make up inefficiencies in software or process. So that was the big aha moment for us. We've been through every backup product prior to moving to Enable. Is that we had 3 backup products running at the same time because we had zero trust. I don't want to get in an emergency situation and have to go, oh no, here we go, click, is it gonna work? I don't want that type stress, right? So that's something we're not interested in. The other ones weren't able to convince us that wasn't going to happen. You can probably imagine, because when I asked the question to my team, what's the thing that keeps you up at night? And they answer backup, well, I'm not going to stay with that. We're expanding at such a rate, and it was easier to onboard technicians. It was very easy to transition from that previous backup solution into Enable. That transition took a very minimalistic amount of time. Our onboarding, we were basically given a certain amount of time to try to transition as much of our client base into Enable as we could. We were well under that timetable. I think we were 30 days or 45 days, and I think we did it in 15, right? And across 375 servers, not including desktops and the Office 365, it didn't take us long to transition into there. So that was a very impactful thing for us. That was huge. So I got my 1.7 back into infrastructure in half a month cycle. So that's very impactful revenue-wise. We're kind of done hiring a technician to fill a horrible process or a horrible product. And that was a big decision about Enable, was the single pane of glass. And not just across our server base and our virtual servers, but also our Office 365 infrastructure. The Office 365 backup being into the same multi-tenancy portion where I can look at something and instantly know what I should be billing was huge. Because billing still falls into the administrative side, not the technician side. So that was a big relief to us as well. Most people chase their cash flow, right? So they put products in place that they can afford. My recommendation would be invest in your MSP, right? So invest in solutions that are going to return you revenue and have that faith that that's what's going to happen. I think that's the key, is take a look at the holistic view of what the dollar value is of the product, but what it means to your staffing costs. What does it mean to your turnaround for the client commitment you've given? And what's keeping your team up at night? I think those are the four things that I would look at. I would probably start with what's keeping my team up at night. So if you can find a product and a partner that does that they remove that stress, you're going to not just make money on that product in the delivering that service, you're going to get that time back from your technicians to make you more profitable. So invest in your technicians, invest in the product, and make sure that you have the right product. But an enterprise solution is not an MSP solution. You really need multi-tenancy. You need something that is in channel specific for MSPs, and that's going to help you on your billing, your training, your adaptation, your deployment, and that's going to help you out revenue-wise.